Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? KS here, and I'm recording another video. So this is going to be a quick video on how to make a really cool button hover effect. So I would assume you already have your UI that you want to place this with. So I have a background here. This is just using a frame. I didn't do anything fancy with it at all. Just placed the frame here and colored it and sized it to make it look like maybe like a shop or something. So basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place a frame into wherever you're placing your buttons. And you're going to make it the width frame, and I'm going to make it about 0.2, and I'm going to do 0.1. 0.1 might be the best here. Yeah, 0.1 is going to be the best. Alright, so I'm going to call this top nav and top navigation. Basically, you don't have to do name what I name it. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to use top nav just for the video. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to make this transparent. It's not going to be visible. This is just going to be the button holder, so where all the buttons are going to be. So now you're going to place another frame inside of that frame, and you're going to call this button, or whatever you would like to call it. Obviously, you're not going to want to call everything button. If you're making a big project, you're going to want to name them what you need to name them. From here, you're going to want to slice this one down. I'm going to make this about the quarters length of this UI here. And I'm going to make it the height of the top nav frame. And I'm going to make this black. I'll show you what I'm going to do with this later, but I'm going to make this transparent again. And I'm also going to take away the border, so we don't need one. So now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to show you a quick little thing here. This is very, very useful. I like to use, when I'm making a list of buttons here, I like to use UI list layout. This will basically, when you put a button in here, or whatever you put in here, it's going to form a list. Basically, I'm just going to rename this to UI just for short. I don't really like the long name, so I kind of use top nav, and when it comes to background, I kind of like to use forward. But you're going to want to, instead of vertical, you're going to want to use horizontal and leave everything the same. And we can continue what we're doing with this button. You're going to place a text button inside of the button frame, and I'm going to rename this to label. It's pretty much is going to be the label. This is where your text is going to be. You're going to want to make this the length of the button itself, and I'm going to make this 0.9 because we're going to put the bar at the bottom here. And yeah, so I'm going to make this transparent and make it text to scale, and I'm going to use source signs bold, and I'm going to make this text white. And I'm going to capitalize the text, just how I like to do things. And you're going to place a frame inside of there, and I'm going to call this bar. Again, you can call this whatever you want. I'm just going to call it bar for the video. Yeah. So you're going to make this 1, so the length of the button, and you're going to make this 0.1. So fill in that extra space that you have at the bottom now. And the position is going to be 0.9, so it's going to go right underneath. The anchor point, you're going to want to set the X value to 0.5 and leave the Y at 0, and make the X position 0.5. Again, take away the border, and I'm going to, again, change the X value of the size to 0. This way it doesn't show up at all, and this is what the fun part about the effect. So now that you got your button all completed here, I'm going to duplicate this a couple times, and as I duplicate these, they're going to go right next to each other, so I'm going to go ahead and duplicate both of these again, and yeah, there we go. So inside of the top navigation frame, you're going to want to place a local script. and I'm going to call this effects. And from here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a variable for the top navigation frame. So I'm going to call this top nav, and we're going to do script here. And inside of the script underneath this, you're going to want to go make a for loop. This is basically going to run through everything that's inside the top navigation frame, and it's going to look for the buttons, and inside that, I'm going to put some functions to make the effects work. So we're going to go for underscore, and we use button in pairs, and we're going to do top nav colon get children. And then drop a line. It's going to put that end there. So at this point, you're going to want to check to make sure that you are actually manipulating a button, because obviously there's UI list layout and then the script itself. So now look for the button. So we're going to go if button is a frame, because we use frames for these buttons. Then drop a line and another end. We're going to do the button dot label, that's our actual button. Dot mouse center connect function. And now we've just created a function. When the mouse enters the button, it detects it, and it will do the effect that's inside. It'll do all what's inside this block of code, inside this function. So at this point, you're going to want to, like I did here, I made this transparent. You don't see the background, the black background. Now what you're going to want to do is do button dot background transparency equals 0.75. This will just make it a little bit visible. It's so that you know you're hovering over this button, and there's also going to be the little line effect at the bottom. You're going to want to go button dot bar colon tween size, and inside there udim2.new, and so this is going to be the new size. We're going to go 1, 0, 0.1, 0. And outside of those parentheses, you're going to put another comma and space. So I'm going to use out, and then sign, and then a 0.3 second animation, and true. You can now copy this whole function and drop a line and paste it, and instead of mouse enter, it's going to be mouse leave, so to detect that the mouse has left this button. And we can make it transparent again, and we can do 0. Make it not visible anymore. So now this will affect all the buttons, so it will detect it. It will also check to make sure it's a frame, so you don't get errors in the output. So now we're going to test it out. It's going to take a moment. Studio on my computer tends to, if I have my computer on for a while, it's not going to load quickly. Just give it a moment. So basically what's going to happen is when you hover over the button, it's going to, both sides from the middle of the bottom, where the bar frame is, going to expand out, and it's going to make the background visible slightly, so that when you hover over the button and leave, it's got that nice little effect. If this ever does load, that'd be great. There we go. Okay. And so as you can see, when you hover over each button, it does that nice little button effect. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful, and you might be able to use this at some point in some of your projects. I love doing effects like this, and I have some other ones that I can show you guys how to do in the future. Yeah, it's, let me know what you guys would like to see in the future. I'm trying to get back into making videos again. Just been really busy. I'm getting done with school, so yeah. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.